I'm Kenny. I'm the ecosystem growth lead at LayerZero, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about LayerZero for gaming. So to take a closer look at what LayerZero is, let's take a step back and examine the evolution of blockchain technology as a whole. So it all started with Bitcoin in 2008 as a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, and eventually people realized there's myriad use cases beyond peer-to-peer digital cash using the blockchain. And that's when Ethereum came in and gave rise to things like DeFi, NFTs, and DAOs. Shortly after, each blockchain comes inherently with its own scaling limitations, and as we all know, Ethereum can be quite expensive and slow to use in times of network congestion, and that gave rise to this kind of Cambrian explosion of alternative L1s, layer 2s, and now even layer 3s. And with each new blockchain that arose, it became all the more clear for an underlying messaging layer that facilitates transactions, facilitates communication between all these different blockchains, and that's what LayerZero is. LayerZero is an omni-chain interoperability protocol that can be thought of as the internet of blockchains. You can pass any arbitrary array of bytes between blockchains, whether that be data or token transfer. Since going live in 2022, LayerZero has become the market leader in all of interoperability. Since going live, we've achieved over 105 million messages passed between chains. We're live on over 50 chains across multiple VMs. We've transferred over $50 billion in value, and we have the largest bug bounty program in existence at $15 million. LayerZero has a few core principles. The first are immutability. LayerZero is built completely on non-upgradable contracts and instead uses append-only verification libraries, meaning that developers can choose to opt in, but they're not required to. The next is censorship resistant. No one can alter or stop a message from being sent between chains once it's been initiated. And the third one is permissionless infrastructure. So on 3 levels, anyone can deploy on LayerZero, anyone can verify a message on LayerZero, and anyone can execute a cross-chain transaction on behalf of users on LayerZero. And these 3 principles allowed the LayerZero protocol to exist in perpetuity. Even if the core team would go away today, the LayerZero protocol would still be up and running and still sending messages between chains. And so how LayerZero works is we deploy what we like to call an endpoint on each chain, and an endpoint is a set of immutable smart contracts that sends and verifies cross-chain messages from chain A to chain B. In between, we have our modular security stack, which we like to call our network of decentralized verification network, or DVNs. And each DVN verifies messages on behalf of LayerZero, and they all have their independent verification methods, meaning that all lie somewhere on the cost and security scale, meaning that developers have complete control of their security stack. We think that different apps that are purpose-built for different actions should have different security stacks. And with LayerZero, developers are able to choose and configure their own security stack. And additionally, anything can be passed through LayerZero, whether it's state data or value transfer. So again, any arbitrary packet of data on the internet can be sent through chains via LayerZero, whether that be just data or tokens and value transfer. And so I think these really gave rise to solve some challenges in Web3 gaming today. The first is that players are siloed into single networks that have poor liquidity and or poor ecosystems. The next is that games have no easy way to tap into communities on other blockchains or networks. And the third is that blockchain networks can be slow or transactions can be expensive, which adds frictions for a lot of game players. And then games have no way to future-proof themselves, right? Each chain has its own life cycle, and the only method to kind of, I guess, future-proof your project is to be completely blockchain agnostic and build on top of LayerZero. And the last one is that cross-chain uses have huge security risks associated with traditional bridging methods. So the solution for this is omni-chain gaming through LayerZero. We have a suite of products including ONFTs and OFTs. ONFTs are omni-chain non-fungible tokens, which are essentially NFTs that can be bridged from one blockchain to another. And this is a huge unlock for games that, say, want to have their gameplay on a highly performant chain, but take advantage of the liquidity on Ethereum or Solana for their project. Additionally, OFTs are omni-chain fungible tokens. Traditionally, in bridging, you go through like a wrapped asset or you go through a middle chain, and LayerZero OFTs eliminate the need for that completely. They use a simple burn and mint model with a unified stability liquid for anyone to be able to transfer tokens across chain A to chain B. And so these really come into hand with gaming because game developers want to focus on building a really captivating, entertaining game, and game players want to just play the best game possible. And so by building on top of LayerZero, game developers are able to abstract away from that and just focus on building a really captivating game without focusing on the underlying blockchain technology at hand. LayerZero currently supports some of the leading Web3 games. So DeFi Kingdoms, initially since it launched, was able to facilitate over 200,000 cross-chain transfers since integrating LayerZero. And then recently we've expanded to AAA first-person shooters, including Play Off the Grid by Gunzilla and Shrapnel. The product suites that I mentioned before are a core part of these games where game developers and game players are able to focus purely on creating and playing a good game without having to focus on which chain the assets actually live on. And so for a lot of these, we see that games want to build their own blockchain that operate either as like an Avalanche subnet or a layer 3. And for this, it makes sense to use LayerZero to bridge between their specific blockchain and then also the AVAX C chain or Arbitrum 1. And for more information on developing with LayerZero, you can take the QR code there will take you to our website where you can learn more about our developer docs and how to get started building on LayerZero. Thank you.